lot of you know Lynda and the creativity that she brings, the Fresh Start Market, and shares that with a lot of the rest of the markets. And so she may talk about a lot more than just this one thing. We'll see what comes up. But you should have a yellow sheet of paper that will relate to this idea of laying out your market in a way that really helps you drive sales. So join me in welcoming Lynda Annoreno.
Thank you. You know, I've so enjoyed today and spending time with all of you and hearing your experiences and your maybe hurdles or challenges that you were presented, the opportunities that you've had. And I have to applaud each and every one of you for doing what you do for the rate of pay that you get. So, I don't have all of the answers. I am not always right. Of course, I do have a few people in my life convinced that I am. What I am sharing with you today, and folks that I've shared with in the past where we've had an opportunity to get together, is what has worked for northern Minnesota in the endeavor that I undertook in starting a farmer's market. Through my observations, what have the results been? I have found that the first year, this is the beginning of our third year, so we're just the kids on the block. And the first year I had a gentleman named Josh from SHIP, who is especially supportive of the farmers market. And Josh wanted to do an evaluation for SHIP on what did we do exactly. We were a new market. How did it go? SHIP was interested. So in talking with Josh, part of what we came up with, he says, Lynda, do you have any idea what the market did in sales? And I said, yeah. But I was a little afraid to answer that question because I thought, okay, this guy's either going to burst my bubble because I put so much time and energy into doing this market, and he's going to embarrass me by saying, and you want to do this again? Or something else was going to be said. So we started with a list of 17 vendors. The answer to Josh's question was, what did we do for sales the first year? And it was in the neighborhood of $250,000. Well, from a town of 1,500 people, we had a list of 17 vendors. And then life happened. And Paul, I will agree with you on a lot of things, but this still works. And people up in Baudette still look at each other. Yeah, they have words, that stuff comes out of their lips. So it's, you know, it's a fun place. So I started looking at that and saying, what have I done differently, or what could I do differently to change or enhance? I have found that one of the keys to the freakish success that the market has had in Baudette is the fact that the people have been so generous in attending because they want to come. But I would look at how they came. I would look through different eyes. I wouldn't just see somebody walking across the parking lot. I'm looking at they're walking across the parking lot. Where are they starting? Where are they going north or west or which way? What is the traffic flow in the market? So part of what I want to talk to you about today is how to mix it up. I have completely unveiled myself to you. This is my artist rendition of a marketplace. I am lucky. I know how to use Facebook. Now it has just been reinforced today that I need to learn how to post a picture on it. I am not hired by the University of Minnesota Extension Service as a technology person, and this is why. But if you will follow along with me from the bottom right-hand corner, you will see I am going to take you on a journey. And we are going to walk through the valley of the shadow of bread and jam, graced with corn and kale. So we have Mr. and Mrs. Shopper down here, and they're coming through. Now these are 3 rows. Obviously, every tent is the same size, and this is to scale. So, if you have the ever so popular, sold at Sam's Club, they don't pay me, 10 by 10, easy up, commercial tent, your market needs to have one for your office. First thing, what do we do with the office? Well, the office opens about an hour before the market does, because that's where the vendors come and check in. That's where the vendors get their name tags. That's where the vendors sign the book that they have attended. Because in the market, at the Fresh Start Market, our vendors are required to wear a name tag that says vendor. I don't want people not knowing who people are. We're a big tourist town. People need to know who they're dealing with. And people need to know who they can trust to ask questions. Oh, you're a vendor. Do you live here in town? Where can I go get lunch? Giving the professionalism. Showing that we are an outfit that is not just a dog and pony show. That we don't just throw our tents up on Saturday and take them down on Saturday afternoon and we're off till next week to Yeastland or whatever we're vending. So I would encourage you to allow Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, now these 10 by 10 tents, if you're a market that has, let me see, 3, 5, 8 vendors, you still need an office. This is where, and the office is located at the end of the row, if you will. On the end where our market has grown to needing to purchase the use of porta potties. I will explode first. If you see the placement of the tables, the second one in, that Mr. and Mrs. Shopper are going to, they're on an angle. They're not just on the wall, the side. It's like everybody has a way of decorating their home. And I would venture to say 99% of the folks in this room have a couch slapped up against the wall. Raise your hand. Oh, you don't have any couches? Okay, you get my drift. If we angle it, we're allowing more circulation, we're allowing more access to the product, and a little bit of style. Keep in mind, every table needs a covering, even if it's this gauche yellow, or what they call banana in the paper world. So we've got the first tent Mr. and Mrs. Vendor come to is a 3-vendor tent. There's bread, veggies, and jewelry. Those things don't go together, do they? Our grocery stores are compartmentalized. Farmers markets, through my observation and research, are impulse buys. Absolutely, I want to go to the market today because they have corn. And I am headed, in my mind, to go get corn. But my gosh, you know what I need a birthday present? Aren't these earrings cute? Nobody woke up and said, I'm going to go to the farmer's market and buy a pair of earrings. That I know of. And I've met a few folks. So now we've got the market as an impulse buy. People are coming to socialize. You are creating avenues for people to capitalize and grow their social, their, I don't know, their mental, and their physical health. So why not give them things that want to make them stay? And we're going to mix things up. We're going to put bread, not necessarily next to the jam, because I want you to be able to sell me your bread, and I'm going to look down the table over here and I'm going to go, oh, jam, look at this. And then I'm going to, now it might so happen to be that you sell both products, because they complement each other. And that's okay, I'll let you have them on the same table. But I'm not going to put another bread and jam person with you under the same tent. I don't want that. As market managers, it is in your best interest not to have like items together. Experience has shown. Did you sell a loaf of my bread? It was on the corner of that table. You know, those were my earrings you just sold. They were at, you know, right at the edge. So everybody needs a different color tablecloth. This way we can designate who's who. Hence the need for the separation. So I've given some examples here. So here's the first row. We've gotten 2 words labeled the end, and that's where the office is. Vendor stuff happens there. We have weekly recipes that we give out. We promote that through Facebook. Come pick up the recipe for kombucha squash. Well, what is that? I've never seen that before. I don't know what to do with it. You know what? We're going to have a demonstration on it. And they start coming. So we're stirring things up with how to cook the vegetables. We're stirring things up at the market. Now we've got, maybe your market needs 2 rows. You've got more vendors. You need more space. How do I mix that up? Who do I put with what? You know what? Pies and yard art seem to work quite well together. Because as they are standing there, sampling their piece of pie, they're looking at the yard art, and you're watching the flow of the people and what they're doing, and when their wallet starts coming out. Inviting children to the market via Facebook is an exceptional thing to do, because children generally don't drive and have wallets. But somebody that might take them to the market will. And they're not going to buy a darn thing. No, we're just here for the Frisbee contest. That's it. You know what? Have a seat on the picnic table. Visit with so-and-so over here. And, yeah, have a good time. Watch your grandson play, whatever. And as that lady is going with her Minnesota-grown bags to the car, what happened? We had impulse sales. We invited people. I have never asked one person, one customer. I've never promoted on Facebook, you have to come and buy this. I don't want you to come and buy anything. I'm not asking you to spend money. I want it to be your choice, because I'm not going to be responsible for how much you can spend. But that's where my goal is. If we have the customers, if we've mixed up the market to give a traffic flow to what people are seeing and how they're doing it, and where they're sitting on a picnic table in the middle, because they're growing that social health, that's what we want them to do. I want you to linger. I want you to open that bag and show Janet what you bought. And you know what? And then I see them sit at the big table. And what does Jan do? She gets up and she goes and buys one too. Oops. Now you've got a bigger tent, or a bigger audience of vendors. So we have row 3. Your space is going to be unique in itself to itself. Your space that you're using, your green area, your parking lot, your area, space, your canopy, your permanent shelter that was put up for you, which I think was quite gracious, is going to be different. But just think about mixing it up. Think about what you can do with your environment, with your group, to change it up a little bit, to make it more inviting. Every market should own an office tent. Our office has a market tent, and we share it with a vendor. Could be the same vendor every week for a few weeks, might change, the face of the market changes every week because life happens. For some reason, adult people want to go to their children's weddings. And they've planned poorly, I might add, because they planned that wedding to be in July or June. So they're not there for a Saturday. And that's unfortunate. The guest book is a perfect place where you can, the people can sign. And you know what? The door prizes. Who doesn't like door prizes? Excuse me, who read the invitation online to come here today? Did anybody read about door prizes? Good. And you're welcome.
And the free lunch too.
Because somebody else said, I never got a door prize. That'd be me. Oh, I wasn't going to give you up. I'm here to protect you. So what do we have if we mix it up? You could get more money spent. If people spend more money, what happens? That vendor might want to stay. So you're investing in anchor vendors for your market. You're also encouraging new vendors because they see the people that are there. Sarah here she did a wonderful thing. She was up in Vedette. She came to the farmer's market. She ran in the firecracker race that they have for a 5K thing, which I thought was quite commendable. And she came to the farmer's market. And after she waded through the crowd of people and found me in what I only wear and call my market uniform, I always wear tie-dye t-shirts. I have a plethora of them, and denim shorts. So people could say, no, it's her over there in the tie-dye t-shirt. So it's kind of my market uniform. It's my signature. It's my, I'm about the peace symbol. Yeah, it's my marketeer suit. Yes, exactly. So this can incite more shoppers too. Questions, comments?
If a vendor sells out of their product, like for example, the lady that makes all the bread that we were talking about, that's amazing. So let's say she sells that out in 30 minutes. You require all of your vendors to stay at the market if they're sold out, or no? Because of like for flow purposes or other purposes. I'm just curious because lots of markets do it a different way.
Absolutely.
There's not really right or wrong. I was just curious.
I'll tell you what the northern method is. This is a folder which is an example of what I gave out at our pre-season vendor meeting. And in this vendor packet, one of the many things we talk about, and the reason that they're green is because that's the color of money, which is what I want all vendors to make, so that they are happy and they come back. I had one vendor this year that sold $15,000 worth of bread.
And it was so good.
I'm gonna answer your question right now, Sarah. I have one of the things we talk about in our vendor meeting is the pros and cons of shutting down early or leaving. This is a common thread that we have experienced in markets. I ask the market vendors to commit to that day. If you physically cannot be there, if you're not going to give me 4 hours to help you make over $300 an hour, when I have calculated that we've got 68 operational hours in our season, you don't need to show up. City girl comes out of me real quick sometimes. Born and raised in Chicago, from Phoenix, Arizona for the past decades, and I landed up in Minnesota nice. What was God thinking? Oh my God.
There's hope for you.
Yeah, there's hope for me, right? Yeah, perfect, perfect.
So if they're sold out, they just stay at home.
If they're sold out, if they come to the market
They spend money.
and they sold out, we have pros and cons, and I'll just run through this real quick. One of the pros is the shoppers still come. That's on the list of pros. That'd be one item. The cons, shoppers can't order for the next week's pickup. There's not a chance to build the customer base that you needed to anyway, because now it's the end of the season and you're saying, damn, I wish I would have got everybody's email addresses. Or I wanted to let Facebook know that I was gonna bake bread this winter, or whatever. The third thing is the market looks sparse. Now you're starting to look like Swiss cheese, because this table's gone, and that table back there is gone, and this table's gone, and I've gotta walk all the way from there to there. Well, you know what? Your table's looking sparse because it's the end of the day. I'm not gonna walk all the way down there and see what you have anyway. So, fellow vendors feel lonely. They have lost their support. The people that are next to them are missing. The marketplace isn't promoting consistency. And if it's one thing that I've learned through my transplantation to Minnesota, is that folks here like consistency. I want to establish a relationship with you. We're building relationships in our market. We're stirring things up with that, and we're coming and saying, I want to support you. But you know what? You didn't show up last week. You weren't here 2 weeks ago when I needed a pie, when I was having company and I was counting on that. You weren't here for something. I'm not doing business with you anymore. I can't depend on you. So that's what happens. I did not make this up in a dream. This came from feedback that I got from listening to my customers. I do listen. I don't just pick. If everyone left early, you'd be the only vendor. Think about it that way. Now we have the issue of, if you did stay and you sold out, what could you do? You can give out samples. You can take orders for next week. You can still promote your product in your business. You can support your fellow vendors by being there. And you could help the mall to look inviting. One of the things that I found that promotes sales are straight lines. Don't know why, but every mall is done in a straight line. You have strip malls. And every other store is a different product or service. That's what we need to do here. This is what helps to increase the sales. Offsetting your tents. You've got one tent here, a tent here, and a tent here. So when they're looking through, in our place where they came, Mr. and Mrs. Shopper walking down here, oh, they got a vision. They have a visual to the next thing. Oh, let's go back in and see what they've got. And let's go back. It's a magnetic draw for them to come and experience what I refer to as the event. So now you're standing, you're giving out samples, you're promoting, you're looking like the mall, you're building your customer base, Your presence encourages shoppers to stop. I think it's sad, and I tell my vendors this in the meeting, it is especially sad when you sell out so early because that's all the money you could make that day. You put a cap on your income because you only brought so much product. You only had the time to sell it. And you're the one who wants to leave at 10:30? No, you're gonna suffer with the best of us. If you can't commit to being there for 4 hours to support your market and your fellow vendors, maybe we're not the place for you to set up camp. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to drive 2 hours, like some of our vendors do, to come to our market, be a part of our market. Every Saturday, they're driving 2-3 hours to get there, to set up, to do what they're doing. And you want to pack it up at 10 o'clock because you've sold out? Sorry. If you want to leave, that's fine. I have what's called a sign of shame. And anybody that has been involved with or has displayed any sort of political sign in your front yard, there's what they call an H frame. And you put the frame in the ground, and the political people have provided the plastic to go over the top. Guess what? They sell tag board the same size as that in the store. And it says, sold out, couldn't stay to help you. Problem? Okay, here's our choices. Sign or you. Sign or you. Because what happens? People are visiting the neighboring tent, and what do they want to know? What happened? What did they got? Because now I've got an issue or a word that's common in the business field, and it's called liability. No, I'm sorry, you are not tearing down a tent and trying to walk the poles into everything across the place when we have between 300 and 500 shoppers every Saturday. Not gonna happen. No. We got the trip factor going on. We have designed a professional marketplace as much as we can. In the rain, in the wind, in the near snow last October, and there's a lot that goes into it. I am not wanting one person that travels to or lives in our area to think we're a flim-flam, slop-shot place to come to. And one of the two things I did first, when the thought of doing a farmer's market entered my little head, was to get aligned professionally. In Lynda speak, there's two ways to do things, the right way and the other way. I wanted to do it the right way. First person I contacted, first group I contacted was Minnesota Grow. Second group I contacted was the Farmers Market Association. These have names, these have clout. These are people I want to get to know. I want to work with them. I cannot tell you the look, the visual attraction that our market has, because everybody that sells veggies and breads and everything, we got the twist ties, the stickers, and these people don't ask for any more money. And I think that's just stellar, because I'm the one saying, can I get 20,000 of these stickers? Yeah, and it's free. Maybe in some people's language it's not free, because I had to pay $20. But I'm here to tell you, once you get hooked on these people, they're like freaking drug dealers. And they have stickers and pokers and stuff coming that you just want more and more and more. drug. Well, you are, I'm sorry. And the Minnesota Farmers Market Association was the second thing, because I learned about another word that goes along with liability. It's called insurance. If you do not have insurance at your market, shame on you. Unless you really don't like the house you're living in. When it's an independent market, you're not incorporated, you're not unincorporated, you're not any of those things, and somebody trips and falls, what happens? Who's in charge here? There you go. Yeah. So we'll send her to those. And, you know, the process will just, you know, we're gonna sue you anyway because I cracked my head open and now there's all kind of brain damage, more than what I started with. So, we're in a litigious society. Take heed, please. Think about, it's a minimal expense, it's a $5 million policy. The property, we function on private property, and the store owners wanted to know if we had a policy. If you don't, we will take out a rider to ensure that there is more insurance for this event. When you've got 500 people visiting your house on any given Saturday, it's an event. And we want to make sure that we're covered. Because we're a tourist town, we got people coming from all over the place. I even put insurance on the porta potties. God forbid the guy didn't crank the thing to lower the stuff and do the like that. No, no. Have I got you thinking about anything? Yes.
You know, you guys have a lot of arts and foods. Do you find that, you ever think like the artists feel like the food people are gonna get too much money, or the food people think the arts people are gonna draw down their possibility for getting too much money? I mean, like, how does that little world work?
You just might be my new best friend. That is a great question. I'll tell you how it works in our world up north. Part of what we have in this folder too is a good neighbor policy. And I created that. And the good neighbor policy, you know, some of you have bylaws, and I have respect for that. Some of you have all this businessy stuff, I have respect for that. I meet, and this is how we do it up north. I got no better answer, I'm being honest. The good neighbor policy says that you will not hawk. You won't be shouting, calling, you know, trying to, hey, we got bread over here, $2.95 a loaf, first $5. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're not doing that stuff. We're not promoting religious, political, no sex, drugs, rock and roll thing, you know? But what I do say, and people ask, what do you think I should sell this for? How much are tomatoes? What, am I the vegetable god? No. I'll tell you how much to sell them for. What you think they're worth. Okay, sir, you went and you got organic certification. And you have soil amendment that cost you, I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars to put in your 10 by 10 plot. And Ramona went to Harbor Haynes and she bought a package of tomato seeds. You have had your grow lights growing to start your seedlings. You have named them, you have tended to them, you have given them a certified creek water and with fish emulsion, and Ramona dropped her seeds on the ground and oops, they grew. How much are Ramona's tomatoes? And how much are Robert's tomatoes? Robert puts a value on his produce and says, well, I got, you know, organic and water and all this stuff, and I think they're $1 a piece because they came out this big. They look like they're on steroids. And they're juicy and they're very delicious, and I'm selling my tomatoes for $2 a piece. Ramona's like, I don't know what to do with these damn tomatoes. They keep coming and they keep coming, and what do I do with them? I just mine are 50 cents each, get them out of here. I got mine 10 for $1, I don't care, just get them out of here. Somebody make salsa, please. It's the value that somebody puts on their product, and that's just how I explain it to them. We also don't have, what could be common in some markets is for people to set up early and, I'm selling the tomatoes too, okay? And I'm gonna, it's on your store, sir. Oh, man, I'm leaving his place, you know? And I'm gonna go, okay, I'm gonna undercut everybody, I'm selling mine for 50 cents. And I have more than them, so I'm gonna make more money and whatever. I find something like that going on, you're gonna meet a flip side of me you never wanted to meet. No, we don't play that game here. We're in Minnesota, we got Minnesota nice. This just won't
It
happen.
has to be the same price then?
No, it's how you, however much you think it's worth, that's what you sell yours for. But I'm here to tell you, that's why I don't have 2 tomato vendors sharing a tent. No, they are far apart from each other. And we've got earrings and all kind of distractions in between. This is how we keep peace in the family.
So then what do you get to do? You're right, you sell a lot of art, you sell a lot of food, and everybody's happy.
$325,000 worth this year,
Of arts or just everything?
total sales.
Total.
Wow.
4,000 loaves of bread.
So do the vendors turn in how much they make each piece of
No,
Or,
no.
you know, how much?
At the end of the season, I call them, I go, hey, you wanna meet for coffee?
Every Saturday.
Now you notice they
Would
know.
you tell me no? Would you tell me no?
My campers,
Of course not.
my
It's all in the
campers maybe gonna be
presentation. It's all about
Spring
mixing
Hill
it up.
Island, maybe us girls have
It's
to
all about
go for a
working with-
weekend and just
It's
tour
about asking a
around.
question.
I got a big camper.
You know, you did your taxes this year, or you didn't, because I'm not the tax police, I don't care. Do you know how much you did in sales? Just, you know, I don't need any documentation, just give me a number. And then I add them all up. And then I go, holy God. And how much did I make? Zap! Linda?
How do you address the vendor who comes late? And do you let them set up?
No.
And what, I wish you had a paper like that for the late people. I love your,
Could,
I spend it
Mr.
every
Hugan,
week.
can you make a note for me to take care of that?
Well, I do too.
I need a late note.
This is right here. This will have to be the last
And a
one.
lot of
okay,
girls
well, you
find
get two
jars,
things,
find
and I'll
jars, find
hit
jars.
the most important. Where is your parking lot in this picture? Where are the people coming from? Are they coming
Right by where the picture.
right
Where,
in the front
Yeah,
here?
the parking lot is on the table or wherever your paper is.
Okay, here.
Everything's just
Right here.
Okay, now you drew us this nice picture and you have 3 rows. We don't have room for rows. We have room for one long row.
Uh-huh.
Now, you did say that, you know, everybody's built in a straight line. That's what we're gonna do this year, is one long line, and then wrap it around, because we have so many vendors now.
You don't have 20 feet or 30 feet to work.
It slopes. Yeah, it slopes, and so we had people slipping and sliding when it was raining, and so
Lovely.
we're going to the flat part between the highway and the parking lot, and we're gonna make one
would
long
the
row.
tables be still in a line but just angled like such to create sort of a little like, in an, like a
And that's-
zigzag sort of? So it's still in a line, but it's like just not like this, it's like this.
Yeah, it's not gonna be geometric.
It's more rick-rack.
Okay, the other part of that question
I'm a vendor,
is,
that's my kid.
you and several people have talked about
I have a
assigned,
feeling that their markets
places.
have gone all the time.
okay, you check in, you don't have them in the same place every week, right?
Well, the face of the market changes every week because of life
And
happening.
who comes and who doesn't?
So every night, Friday night before market day, I sit with a legal pad like this. And I figure how many vendors I've got that have their own tents.
So they have to let you know the night before if they're coming for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay,
If you don't
Makes
call, you
sense.
can't play.
okay.
Organization.
What's wrong with first come, first serve? As long as you do
There's too many
not put two
personalities.
tomatoes
No,
together.
I'm not allowing, and this sounds harsh, and I might sound callous with some things, or I might sound steadfast, but experience shows. I'm not inviting those stressors. Juan was here 5 minutes before he was because I was 3 minutes, I'm not going there.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
there
know.
last week, I want to be there again this week. That's what we
And
did.
if they're a market member, they will have preferential treatment. If they paid their fees for the year up front, and you want to be in the same corner of the institution every week, fine, I'll put you there.
But then you gotta be there.
Who, me?
No, but then that vendor has to assure
Yes.
they're
What
gonna be
happens if
there.
the vendor doesn't show up? Life happens.
People are committed. If they've paid up front and they're committing to being there for the season, they're a repeat vendor, they know what kind of money they can make, they're darn sure gonna call me by Monday of the Saturday before and say, something happened, I can't make it, we got sick, car broke down, whatever it is. I get it. The face of the market changes every week, depending on those holes that have been created through life's events. So every week, every Friday night, I sit down, who's gonna be here, who needs tent space, I fill in the blanks. I have a master map that I fill in with pencil and how much space do we need, where are we going this week? And because I have wanted to encourage you to mix things up, courtesy for you today, from the Fresh Start Farmers Market in Minnesota, we gift you with a bamboo spoon.
Oh, I love bamboo spoons.
And who doesn't like something free?
Take it here.
Here you go, dear. That's your pockets.
Thanks, Linda, that was a lot of great ideas.
Stop it, gal.
You'll have your spoon to remind you that you can